lasting stability in South Sudan. The newly appointed Chief of Defense Forces, Dr. Paul Nang-Majok, was officially sworn into office on Thursday, just a day after the dismissal of his predecessor. The South Sudan national football team, the Bright Stars, will take on African powerhouse Senegal today in the penultimate round of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, jointly hosted by the United States, Canada and Mexico. These and many more stories are coming in this news bulletin with me, Darlington Moses, and now the news in detail. President Salva Kiir and the visiting Deputy President of South Africa, Paul Masthali, have reaffirmed that full implementation of the peace agreement remains the cornerstone for achieving lasting stability in South Sudan. His two-day official visit concluded yesterday in Juba, where meetings with various stakeholders to support the implementations of the peace accord and chart a sustainable path forward for South Sudanese people. The discussions underscored the urgency of completing key provisions of the agreement, including the drafting of a permanent constitution, transitional security arrangements, and preparations for the national election scheduled for December 2026. South Africa is one of the key grantors of the peace agreement and continues to play a crucial role in supporting peace and stability in South Sudan. Speaking to the media, South Africa's ambassador to South Africa, Simon Duku, stated that the visit aims to enhance political cooperations and deepen South Africa's support for the ongoing peace implementation efforts. He emphasized that such engagements are vital for ensuring peaceful and democratic transitions in the country. South Africa Ambassador to South Sudan, Mahlodi Maufi, described the meeting between the two leaders as cordial and constructive. He stressed the importance of continued collaboration between Juba and Pretoria, especially in areas such as investment and economic development. Officials highlighted the deep historical ties between the two countries forged during the liberation struggles, adding that his shared legacy forms the foundations of strong and enduring bilateral relations. The newly appointed Chief of Defense Forces, Dr. Paul Nang-Majok, was officially sworn into office on Thursday, just a day after the dismissal of his predecessor. His reinstatement comes 3 months after being previously removed from the same position. During the swearing-in ceremony, President Salva Kiir, who also serves as Commander-in-Chief of the South Sudan People's Defense Forces, directed the CDF to uphold professionalism and place the welfare and well-being of all organized forces as a top priority. The President issued a stern warning against any military interference in the country's political processes, including matters related to governance and state affairs. He said that the armed forces must remain apolitical and committed to serving the nation. President Kiir also underscored the importance of integrity, neutrality, and dedications to reform within the military. He reaffirmed his full support for efforts aimed at modernizing the defense sector and strengthening institutional discipline and accountability. This is IRTN News. Before the national news, the South Sudan national football team, the Bright Stars, will take on African powerhouse Senegal today in the penultimate round of 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, jointly hosted by the United States, Canada and Mexico. The Senegal currently tops the group standings with 18 points, followed closely by Congo on 16 points. Sudan sits third with 12 points, while Togo and Mauritania have 7 to 6 respectively. South Sudan remains at the bottom of the table with 4 points. Elsewhere in the group, Congo will face Togo, while Sudan meets Mauritania as teams continue to battle for qualifications hope. South Sudan will conclude their qualifying campaign on October 3rd when they will host Togo at the Juba National Stadium. The two sides drew in their first encounter earlier in the competitions. Despite being the underdogs, the Bright Stars are missing are aiming to deliver a strong performance in front of their fan and finish the qualifiers a positive note. Speaking at a press conference yesterday, South Sudan head coach Nicolas Dupuis expressed unwavering confidence in his team's readiness for today's clash against Senegal, widely regarded as one of the Africa's elite footballing nations. Dupuis said, and I quote, "Our players have trained hard and are fully committed to giving their best performance on Friday. We know Senegal is a formidable opponent, but we believe in our ability to rise to the occasions, noting in football, nothing is impossible." Despite a recent heavy defeat and eliminations from qualification contention, Dupuis emphasized the importance of restoring pride and building a momentum for the future. This is Attitude News, and now to the international scene. Long queues were seen around petrol stations in Mali's capitals a month after militants from an Al-Qaeda affiliate imposed a fuel blockade by attacking tankers on major highways. Some of the garages forced to shut down last week, paralyzing the city, have now reopened after more than 300 petrol tankers arrived under army escort from Ivory Coast on Tuesday. The military government have assured residents it is only a temporary issue, but there are fears the new stock will quickly run out as others complain about price hike. Other cities and areas have also been suffering from such shortages, power cuts and fuel inflations for several weeks. Mali is landlocked, so all fuel supplies are brought into the country by road and neighbors such as Senegal and Ivory Coast. And finally, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says in a statement last week that Israel has approved the Gaza ceasefire and a hostage release plan. The ceasefire is due to come into force earlier on Saturday, 24 hours after the deal was approved. The U.S. is moving up to 200 troops already based in the Middle East to coordinate a multinational force that will monitor the ceasefire, U.S. officials says. This is Attitude News, and now to end this bulletin, let's have the recaps on the top stories once again. President Salva Kiir and the visiting Deputy President of South Africa have reaffirmed that the implementations of the peace agreement remains the cornerstone for achieving lasting stability in South Sudan. The newly appointed Chief of Defense Forces, Dr. Paul Nang Majok, was officially sworn into office on Thursday, just a day after the dismissal of his predecessor. And the South Sudan national football team, the Bright Stars, will take on African powerhouse Senegal today in the penultimate round of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, jointly hosted by the United States, Canada and Mexico. That's the end of iRadio Morning News. If there's a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also a WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba. Like our Facebook page, iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at the top of the hour. I am Darlington Moses. Thanks for listening.